Simulation Happy Hour acknowledges the land and the waters from which you are listening today. Welcome to Simulation Happy Hour. Sit back, relax, and let's talk about all things sim.
Welcome to Simulation Happy Hour Quick Shots. 5 questions in 5 minutes. I'm Jane Frost. We acknowledge the land and waters on which you are listening today. Today, I'm with Ronan Sweeney from Simovation. So Ronan, how did you get into simulation?
Well, Jane, many years ago, in fact, in the early 90s, I got into scuba diving, and that was a really good introduction into simulating people who had experienced drowning or unresponsiveness, and that meant that we had to practice CPR first aid and some advanced first aid. So we were using mannequins even back then, and that was a really unstructured way, but also using, some kind of teaching frameworks from a diving point of view. It really was interesting to me, and it kind of started my trajectory then. And then fast forwarding, when I became an EMT in Ireland, that was also an opportunity where I got to work with mannequins and people who were probably novice simulationists. They had the best of intent, but maybe it was slightly unstructured. But it was a lot of fun, and that really piqued my interest in simulation and education in general.
So can I ask what you're currently doing in simulation?
Yes, I'm managing director of a company called Simovation Interactive Technologies, and we distribute some, we're very proud of, really powerful technologies and moulage products for 4 different companies. The first one is Generate Spaces, and we have a blended learning interactive simulation suite room technology. It's highly interactive. The next thing is a company called SkillCube in Germany, and they create a range of simulated ECG monitors, ventilators, which are really powerful tools for clinicians and educators and simulationists. The third thing that we do are medical moulage products from a company called MedicFX, and they're based in Auckland, New Zealand. And then the last thing we do, which we're really excited about, because it's the kind of the most recent, addition to the offering that we bring to the Australian, New Zealand market, is from a company called Vertistech, and they have a product called DigiSim, which is an immersive interactive design platform for building content that can be deployed agnostically across any device, from a phone all the way up to a Bliss suite. So we're very much a technology-based simulation company, but we support universities, TAFEs, pre-hospital organizations like state ambulance services, hospitals, and some of our products also actually lend themselves into other industries as well.
So I'm really interested to know how you've seen simulation evolve over your time using sim.
I think the one area which has changed drastically over the years that I've been involved in simulation, and especially since even living in Australia over the past 16 years, has been the evolution around the academic rigor, the understanding of creating a safe container, applying good psychology and logic to keeping people safe in the educational encounters that they have. Also the mentoring, I think, to people who facilitate simulation and giving them the tools and the kind of scaffolding frameworks around how they can build really good immersive scenarios for participants. Because I think that's what was always missing. I don't think necessarily that mannequin technology has evolved drastically. It's certainly improved significantly, but obviously we're a company that distributes some immersive interactive technologies. I think that's been a really exciting change, for the industry. But that also brings with it its own challenges of how you embed that into your curriculum to support your learners without it becoming the star of the show. But I do think that the frameworks and the programs that are now available to literally, support the novice simulationist all the way up to instructor level is amazing. That's where I've seen the most progress for sure.
And what do you think the influence of AI will bring?
This may be me scoring a bit of an own goal here, because naturally we have Bliss, or Blended Learning Interactive Simulation Suite technology, and we also have an immersive interactive platform for developing immersive interactive content. I think AI can lend itself really well to those type of tools, where it's about experiential learning, blended learning, bringing people together, because with AI, hopefully, we will be able to create some amazing backgrounds, for example, for Bliss, with avatar people we can interact with. And imagine if we fast forward 5 years, 3 years, even maybe sooner, who knows, you may be able to just speak to the AI and say, create a pediatric ward with a 2-month-old baby that's having breathing difficulty, with a very anxious mom and dad. And you've just got 2 nurses who literally have met the family as they've come in with the ambulance service. And a scenario like that could be stepped up within minutes and presented on the walls of the space or in a VR headset, and suddenly you're able to press play and start the process of the patient deteriorating. I do see that AI will also bring the patient into the environment, so we may end up moving away slightly from the physical mannequin for different aspects of how we embed mannequins into scenarios. I think there will become that crossroads for mannequin use versus more AI-based patients and settings.
And my last question, because we're nearly at the 5 minutes, what advice would you give to new people or people that are new to simulation?
I would say, first and foremost, you need to underpin your knowledge. So you've got to scaffold your knowledge. And I think there are ways to do that formatively through courses, which would be one of the first places. But I think also networking. And I think people who are open to, different ideas, different approaches will probably succeed quite quickly. But I do think you've got to avoid a cognitive bias. You've got to remain curious at all times. And the most important thing is, realize that there are lots of people out there in the simulation community who've worn the shoes and had to take the same journey you have, but the network may not have been as vibrant or as well connected. You have a tremendous opportunity. So, I'd say, network, connect, and get some formal training to set you up for success.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Jane.
Thanks for joining us today. If you've had a topic that you'd like us to discuss, please go to our website at www.simulationhappyhour.com and send us a message. We look forward to having you join us for our next Simulation Happy Hour catch-up. And I will put in the link to Ronan's Simivation site in the podcast, so you can have a look and see of all the things that Ronan has been talking about. Thank you so much for joining us.